praying Jehovah.
What's going on, YouTube? How you doing? How you doing? First and foremost, man, I want to thank everyone for the love and support. And like I always say, I will always be humble and thankful for that. And before we get started, please hit that subscribe button for your boy. Please, please, please hit that subscribe button for your boy. Now, I watched clips of the BET Awards over the weekend, but I missed Burna Boy Mama BET Awards clips. For some odd reason, I don't know how I missed it. As a matter of fact, I found out about it late last night at like 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning when I was doing the live. And somebody said, Brian, did you see Burna Boy Mama on the BET Awards and what she said? I said, no, I did not, ma'am. What was it about? She said, she told me. I said, nah, that flip-flop wearing African did not say that. She just did not say that. So I had to go check it out myself and watch and listen to what this African said. Now, before I tell y'all, I want y'all to hear what I heard. Here we go.
And the message from Burna, I believe, would be that every black person should please remember that you were Africans before you became anything else. Thank you.
Now, y'all heard what that African said. Y'all heard what that African said. Now, I ain't knocking her for shouting out Africa. Cool, because that's where she from. You know what I mean? So she should shout out Africa. But for her to say we were Africans before we became anything else is very diabolical. Very diabolical. Especially when your son copy everything that a black American do for his music. There's nothing really original about your son Burna Boy and his music. But before I go any further, we're nothing like an African. I'm sorry, y'all. We are nothing like an African. We don't have those African high cheekbones like they do. We don't. Our skin pigmentation, like the darker skinned people in black Americans, are not like the dark skinned people in Africa. We have a reddish tint. Like our dark skinned people have a reddish tint to them that's dark. Them Africans don't. Our intelligence are different from them. It's just plain and simple. Reason why I say that, because even when we are hungry and we living off the land, we will not eat mosquito burgers and stuff like that. We will figure out how to eat off the land. And I ain't talking about like people going to the garbage can and eat. I'm talking about black Americans got common sense to fish. Find little berries in the bushes that's healthy and they can eat. These people don't have that type of common sense to do that. We got common sense to grow our food. We got common sense to use cornmeal to eat. We'll do anything before we eat mosquito burgers and dog stuff, whatever. Us as black Americans, we have morals. We have like a intuition that an African do not have. There's a reason why, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, black Americans, and y'all can dissect this if you want. But I think we are the most spiritual beings in the world. I think nobody has a more of a spiritual touch, spiritual thought, spiritual consciousness, just spiritual anything that's with us. I don't think they got it. I just don't. Think about it. We update. Let me just say spirituality out of it. We update a lot. Look at our music, how we update. Look, I'm just gonna start. I'm an 80s baby. Look at the genres of music and how the beats have changed, the style of singing changed, rap. Look how the style of rap has changed. How we play our instruments, how we use the 808s. How we use different drum patterns, how we play the guitar. Look how that changed from the 80s to 2026. Now, look at things in Africa, what's going on in Africa. Everything stays the same. We're nothing like an African. There's nothing about us like them. Nothing. There's no proof that we come from there. Nobody can really show me no proof that we are originally from Africa. Now they can say, hey Brian, well 200,000-300,000 people from Africa touched North America. I said, okay, cool. So what about the rest? What about the rest of the people that was here? There's a genealogist, and you could talk to plenty of genealogists here in America. White genealogists. Let me use the white people, because it seems like when we use black genealogists, no black person don't want to believe them. Talk to these white genealogists about when they do black Americans genealogy in America, how they cannot trace anything back to Africa. As a matter of fact, they trace them to tribes here in America. Majority of descendants of emancipated people are not from Africa. We're not. A lot of people trace themselves here. Now, this is a little thing I like to do with a lot of Pan-Africans and a lot of Africans like Burna Boy mama. I always say, well, you know, it was people here in America. I said, well, you mean to tell... This is the question I like to ask these Pan-Africans or these Africans or these other groups of people that I just like to ask them this. I said, so you mean to tell me that there was no black indigenous people here on this land prior to white folks colonizing this land or coming here, or because of the transatlantic slave trade? They're like, yeah, it was no black people. So you mean to tell me the 300,000 to 400,000 people that they brought here was the only black people that was here in the United States? Yeah. Okay. So I asked her, I said, well, how many people was released from slavery? How many people that were released after slavery? They said, well, 5 million. I said, well, it's 2026. So you mean to tell me 400,000 from the date that slaves first touched this land created 8 million people? So it's like, 4,045,000. I said, okay, I can believe it. I said, so you think buck breaking farms or buck farms or sex farms where they were producing all these slave babies, you think that they were producing a high amount of slave babies like that in order for it to be millions like that? Yeah. So these buck farms or these sex farms or these birthing farms, I asked her, I said, so how many kids they produce a year at these birthing farms? Well, I don't know, it's hard to find. Exactly, nigga. Yeah, they had them farms here, but they wasn't pushing out that many babies. Somebody tell me in the comments if I'm lying or not. I looked this up. It wasn't what they say it is with these birthing farms, where they had our women as cattle pushing these babies out. Was there some? Yes. But I said, but the mortality rate was very high during that time. A lot of slaves that was having babies didn't live. They didn't make it. That's a known fact. I'm sorry, that's a known fact. A majority of the babies that was made, not even just in the birthing farms or the birthing plantation or the fuck plantation that they had, a lot of them didn't make it. Right? So I asked him, I said, so how many again? He said 45 million. I said, okay, tell me how 4 to 5 million equal to 45 to 50 million in 2026. Explain that to me. Since the only people here was slaves, they was Africans, so tell me how we get from 45 million to 40 to 50 million in 2026. Please tell me. So they'll hit me with, well, Brian, how white people get 220 million. Ellis Island, Puerto Ricans, Latinos, these Indians, these Chinese, all these people that identify as white. Keep talking to me if you want to. Once again, tell me how. And they always make an excuse. You know why I say that to say? Because there was a lot of free black people that was here. Majority of black people during that time when them white folks was doing their thing in America was free. I'm sorry. They were free. There was a lot of free niggas out here. It is what it is. That's the truth. So how are these people, there was free people on this land, some funky flip-flop wearing Africans. How was these people here when there was buildings here? Listen, there was buildings here in America before the white boy came here. So tell me how? How? Our architecture ain't nothing like an African architect, bruh. How they build their stuff, we don't build like that. Even when we build our slave quarters, the slave houses, all that where we stayed in, one of the worst type of conditions to be in. We still, even back then, we don't live like a funky. I'm sorry. Even back then, we didn't live like they live today. The slave on the plantation, those slave houses, we're gonna compare them to shanty towns. Our slave plantation, where we stayed at in the shanty areas of the plantation, do not look like the shanty towns out there. Why we never bathed it in feces and pee and stuff like that? Why we never done that? Why? Somebody explain to me why black American slaves during that time did not bathe in pee and feces. Why they did not poop in the middle of the street where the horses and carriages go? Huh? Why there's no stories or no news clippings of people riding their chariots and they see black slaves pooping in the middle of the street on dirt roads? Why is that? Makes sense, don't it? Well, people might say, well, Brian, they say, man, slaves can move around. People think slaves were just confined to this one place. Like they couldn't just walk around outside the plantation. Like they couldn't go 3 miles up the road to holler at their people. They can go without permission. Most of them can go without permission. Now, if you had the ones that had a tight grip, they might have to ask for permission. For the most part, man, they got to move freely. After crop season, or after they finish doing their work, or during the holidays, or on that Sunday when they had time to sit, they get to move around and do what they do. Okay? Was we treated harsh? Fucking right, we were treated harsh. I'm not trying to make it sound like we had it great as slaves, but tell me. Nobody. How are we like them? We had that spirit in us. Matter of fact, this is another thing. These people want to allude to like how nothing didn't start in Africa, bro. And if it did start in Africa, what? Y'all need to update. Cause y'all got these old traditions that just don't work, Africans. And it's fine. Listen, Africans, you can be whoever you want to be. Be you. We are who we are. Now, Caribbeans and maybe Haitians and maybe them motherfuckers, maybe y'all got a connection to them. Maybe y'all act a little like them. People in South America, like where Brazil and where your people at, I can understand y'all claiming them. Okay. I get it. But we not y'all, bro. We was everything but an African. Shit. Man, we was everything but a funky flip-flop wearing African. And Miss Lady, we are nothing like you. My grandma, my mama, when I look at you, I don't see my mama and grandma. When I see Felicia Rashad, I see my mama. I don't see you. You look like a foreigner. You remind me of my math professor. That was an asshole. We're not y'all, bro. We're not y'all, and I'm sorry. This need to be pushed about this genealogy. Like, this is some facts, man. We're nothing like y'all. I'm sorry. I know it sucks. I know nothing's not popping in where you're from, and you need to latch on to us, but I'm sorry, we nothing like y'all. It sucks. Just because we got skin tones, we ain't y'all. We cleaner. We weren't stinky. We bathed during slave times. We took care of ourselves. Even after slavery, even the people in the Mississippi Delta, a lot of poor sharecroppers, a lot of poor black men and women during that time didn't have a lot. You know, a lot of grandmothers and grandfathers couldn't read at a certain level. A lot of them couldn't do anything, but one thing they knew how to do, count some motherfucking money, right? And you know what? A lot of times, what they ate at the Mississippi Delta, it wasn't dirt cookies, it wasn't mud pies, it wasn't mud biscuits, it wasn't mosquito burgers, it wasn't none of that. They figured out how to fish. They figured out how to get canned goods. They figured out how to work with their neighbor up the street so they can concoct a meal together with some beans and shit. They were eating a lot of beans, cornmeal. You know what I'm saying? They was doing that. Soup was the biggest thing. You might hear they might say stew or something. Soup was the biggest thing them folks was eating out there. But one thing I ain't never heard in the Mississippi Delta is them folks were eating dirt cookies, mud biscuits, mud pies, none of that. Mosquito burgers, none of that. They wasn't eating no bugs. We ain't nothing like y'all. Even at the lowest of life, we wasn't doing that. We wasn't. And I know it sucks for y'all. I know it sucks to hurt, but we nothing like y'all. I'm gonna keep saying that through this video. It's gonna sound redundant through this video. We nothing like you Africans. But anyway, y'all have a good one. Be blessed and let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think we're like the Africans? Do y'all think that we come from Africa? Because I do not believe it. I do not believe it at all. There's too many genealogists that say they can't find nothing African in us, even before the white folks came over here. And even when I do my genealogy, there's no Africans, none at all in my family tree. No Caribbeans, no Haitians, no none of that. None of that. So tell me if I'm wrong, or give me some. Tell me something in the comments. Hey, my bad, y'all. I made a mistake on this video, but I'm still gonna put it out anyway. This video came out like in 2022 or 2023, so that's on me. I should have did more thorough investigation on it, but when I saw BET, then as I was scrolling, I saw the date on there. I said, oh, man. But anyway, I still stand on what I say, and it's still true because you have a lot of Africans that do speak like that about us, like we are them. No, we're not y'all. We're not y'all at all. So I stand on what I say in this video. But anyway, peace out to everyone, and I love you. And sorry, that's my mistake.